offensively, they just didn't have the spark that they needed, and so much of that comes on the defensive end. And while they limited Phoenix, they just didn't have the opportunity to break out of it and to get transition points. And that'll be a real key here today for the Storm, because they are missing so many explosive scorers for their team.
Does Seattle settle tonight for three-point shooting, or will they attack the paint, get points in the paint as well as free throws? It's been something we've been kind of charting a little bit over the last few games. We'll give you some stats from that when we get an opportunity. Ball knocked out of bounds, and Jordan Canada will trigger the inbound baseline left. Alicia Clark. She goes into the paint. The step through, fire it up off the glass, no good. But there is the Western Conference Player of the Month of June with the putback. That one's missed as well. Congratulations to Natasha Howard for winning that award after winning 2 Players of the Week award in June. And here's Sammy Whitcomb attacking on the left side, and she will go to the free throw line for 2.
And I like setting the tone early. Both Natasha Howard going right at the defense, can't finish, but then Sammy Whitcomb getting a step on the defender, and then getting raked right across the arm for the 2 shots of the foul line. You like getting into the paint aggressively to start a game to set the tone.
Last 5 games, Elise, Seattle has only taken 69 free throws. They have fired up 119 three-pointers, so it's been settling a lot in the last 5 games.
Now, this is where they have really shined, is on the defensive end. They lead the entire WNBA, giving up only 71.9 points per game, and there they get the steal.
Poked free by Natasha. Alicia Clark feeds Howard. The big 1-2 in the lane, no good, tipped around, and New York has it. Natasha's really been struggling with her offensive game the last couple. See if she can get it going.
And she's had a couple of good looks from inside the paint early.
But you know Natasha Howard will help your team out even if she's not shooting well, because she does everything remarkably well. 3-ball no good. Sammy Whitcomb pulls down the rebound with the 2-0 advantage. Those free throws, by the way, by Sammy, only her 3rd and 4th of the season. Here's a 3-ball by Sammy Whitcomb. She's got plenty of those chucked up this year, and Jordan Canada comes down with the rebound.
Her hands just so lightning quick.
A little sloppy there on the pass. Intercepted, going the other way. Here's Boyd to attack. No, and Sammy's got her 2nd rebound already.
That was excellent transition defense by Jordan Canada, not fouling Boyd, giving her a tough angle on the left side to score over the top.
Canada from 15, off the mark. Can Natasha hustle it down? No. But they say last touch by Tina Charles. Seattle 0 for 5 to start this game. They have their 2 points at the free throw line.
And this is exactly what they want. Get out and run on that possession on the replay. Howard can't finish, but you get that opportunity 10 times. She'll score on 9 of them.
Ooh, good post position to turn around and score. That's exactly where Mercedes wants the basketball.
And she has the height advantage over Rashonda Gray. Third-year player out of Cal. Has about 3 inches in that matchup that she can use to her advantage.
Dumped down Charles. She's immediately doubled. Now the double goes away, and it's one-on-one on Howard. The jump hook up and in. So gorgeous.
Well, just reading the defense, Tina Charles, such a veteran. The double team came, she was patient, she waited, the double team leaves, and then she goes and scores.
How about this move with the left hand by Russell? No good. Charles running the floor. Seattle gets back eventually. 15-footer, back iron. Almost an over and back call there on Gray, but Alicia comes up with it, no whistle.
And Mercedes Russell has to be careful. She's got to get back and stay with Tina Charles. She was wide open on that break.
Clark gets a pick left to right. She'll fire from the corner and a hit. A long 2 for Alicia Clark.
So smooth with that jump shot. Known as one of the better defenders in the WNBA, but right now leading the entire league in three-point percentage.
Charles so tough inside the short arms that jump hook. Oh, the rip away though from Natasha Howard. And out comes Boyd with it. Boyd the screen from Rashonda Gray, the former college teammate. She'll kick it out into the backcourt. Was it touched? I believe it was. At least the officials say it was. 7 on the shot clock for Kia Nurse. Working on Howard. Ooh, look at that move. Get in. Yes, it does. Wow. That was a great little shake and bake by Nurse.
She is really athletic, the Canadian who Jones out of the University of Connecticut, really improved this year.
Whitcomb, kick over to Canada. 10 on the shot clock as she retreats. Gets a screen from Howard, left to right. Clark, wide open from three. Hit her last jumper. This one's off to the left. And Charles tracks it down.
The noon tip, the energy level so far looks pretty good for both teams. It can be hard to get started with this early game time sometimes.
Charles handoff to Nurse. Tries her hand to the J, and that one's good. So Kia Nurse warming up a bit at 6-6.
Her offensive game this year has been so consistent. Only 2 games this year not in double figures.
Back iron for Clark. She's missed her last 2 threes. Bounce pass on the run and losing handle to basketball is the rookie Asia Dua. Third turnover on New York. Storm basketball. Storm still the #1 defensive team in the league in points allowed per game. They've only allowed 6 thus far, but it's their offense that has been in the icebox the last few games, but for obvious reasons. When you don't have Sue, you don't have Jewel, you don't have Brianna, it's tough to put up those 80 points a game that you were basically scoring last year on average. Offensive rebound, Clark. Dump it low. Another good post up for Mercedes Russell. She's getting that caboose low in the paint, isn't she?
Yeah, and it was a good entry feed on the offensive board. Finding the mismatch on that O board. Mercedes Russell with position and with a guard behind her.
Nurse step back 3. She's got it really going right now. She's got all but 2 of her team's points.
And she sure looks confident here to start this game in Seattle. As I mentioned, consistent score for the Liberty.
Canada saves it, though, after what was nearly a turnover. Oh, good cut by Natasha Howard. Still just can't get it to go. There has been a lid on the basket since the calendar changed in July. 0 for 4 in the early going here is Natasha. Turnaround jumper for Charles, no good. How about the pace of this game? Up and down. Does this favor Seattle or New York, do you think?
Well, usually New York gives up a lot of points. They score a lot of points. Smooth looking jumper there from Mercedes Russell. Hit a long one in the game against Phoenix is good improvement. But I think Seattle just has to make sure that their defense leads to offense.
3:47 left. Dump down to Boyd. Kick back out. 3 on the way. Lefty, no good. Tipped around and out of bounds. Mercedes Russell, 3 of 4 in the early going, Elise. That bumps her field goal percentage for the season up over 57%. She is 4th in the WNBA in field goal percentage. And when you get shots like this and you're 6'6", they're going to go down. This season, every free throw a Storm player makes, Alaska Airlines donates 2,000 miles to the Alaska Airlines for Youth Fund. Currently, the Storm are at 178 free throws made, bringing the total miles donated to 356,000. Check out storm.WNBA.com/free throws for the future for more information. Storm led by the 6 points of Mercedes Russell, but how about Kia Nurse for the New York Liberty? 3 of 4, 7 points, doing some damage.
A couple of the players on the floor right now I think should be on the ballot for most improved player. Mercedes Russell and Kia Nurse, 2 different teams, but both really improved.
How about Natasha Howard? They're really struggling over 4. Takes a tough baseline jumper and knocks it down.
Well, the ball is going to go in the hoop for Natasha
Eventually.
Howard. She's the Western Conference Player of the Month. Trying to get back to that All-Star game. She's done a fabulous job, but sometimes that ball just won't find a way in, seemingly.
Baseline J, no. Alicia Clark rips it down. Clark already with 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So a good floor game for AC so far. Skata Lewis into the game for the first time. Tries to feed it a little bit late on the pass to the diver, Natasha Howard. And then, ooh, a double dribble. Thought that might have been a reaching foul there, but Seattle gets the break with the double dribble.
Absolutely, a huge break. Natasha Howard, you need her on the floor, and you see her getting lost on defense there. Kia Nurse has been red hot to start this game. The second-year player out of UConn has scored in a variety of ways.
Mercedes Russell once again gets the ball in the paint with her back to the basket. This is the 3rd time that's happened. 2 baskets and now an opportunity for some free throws here.
Well, I think that this is a good matchup for Mercedes Russell, using her strength to get inside, back to the bucket. And if that double team is not going to come, she's going to have some room to work. It's really the opposite. When Brianna Stewart's on the floor, it's Natasha Howard that gets those kind of looks where she's single covered. Now it's Natasha Howard is the focus of everyone's defense, and so Mercedes Russell is going to get some more one-on-one coverage. Obviously, Brianna Stewart not with the team this year after tearing her Achilles. And she's watching. We wish her all the best in her rehab and can't wait to see her back.
Absolutely. Largest lead of the game at 5 now, 14-9. Niall Raincock-Akunwe comes into the game, replacing Rashonda Gray. And here's a long-range jump shot by Tiffany Bias, who just checked in as well. Hustle for the ball into the corner and saved by the Hall of Famer Katie Smith.
Mercedes a year ago, 1.7 points per game. This year, over 7 points per game. Her rebounding is up from 1.4 to 6.1. Getting an opportunity with the injuries, specifically Brianna Stewart, it's given her time to see a lot more minutes, and she's been productive.
Quick shot by Natasha there, no good. Howard now 1 of 6 from the field. Diving in, ball ripped free from Shavonte Zealous. We got some bench players on both teams coming in here in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Bullet pass over the top, great catch. Triple team down low, ball loose on the deck, and Natasha's got it up to Shavonte Zealous, but they're going to call a foul on the Liberty.
I absolutely love that play from Mercedes Russell. The ball was on the ground. She's 6'6". Look how low she gets here. She's getting on the ground.
There
Big girl, go get it. I love that. You don't see too many centers dive on the ground to go get the ball. That's a long way down for her. She's used to playing at the rim, not all the way on the ground. I tell you, that is a great hustle play for the second-year player out of Tennessee.
Yeah, centers have the tendency to be reachers when the ball gets down there.
And she got down with her whole body, not just diving, but she was in her stance and not reaching. That's a beautiful defensive play.
1:47 left in the quarter to Alicia Clark up top. And another bad pass. There's been about 3 or 4 of those today that Seattle is just ill-advised. Raincock-Akunwe in the middle, up and in. The second-year player out of Canada will go to the free throw line.
Well, and that's what happens when you give the ball away, is that the other team gets high percentage looks because the defense is not set.
Seattle with 4 turnovers that have led thus far to 4 New York points. Make it 5. And there's another one. My goodness. Sneaky Pete, Tiffany Bias back there picking it off.
Yeah, that time Shavonte Zealous just didn't even know she was there.
Oh, and there's the long arms of the law. Natasha Howard going the other way, but Bias tips it out of bounds, nullifying the fast break attempt for Seattle.
And a good hustle play by Bias to knock this away, but Natasha Howard using that anticipation, those long arms. Not very many players can catch Natasha Howard from behind. She hadn't got that full head of steam yet.
There's a head of steam to the rim. Boy, that's what you want to see Natasha Howard do right there.
Yeah, you love it. Just keep working. The shot doesn't go. Keep working. She doesn't change her facial expression. Her body language is superb.
Ooh, great bullet pass. Good catch by Nurse.
And the immediate answer from New York. This is the style they like. They want to try to outscore you. They're the worst defensive team in the league, but they feel like if you can't score with them, they're going to win.
Flipping up. Natasha Howard, no. Mercedes Russell can't get it. And Nurse running back the other way. Lay it up. And Alicia Clark, a little late getting there, has to foul her. So some fast break opportunities on both sides today.
New York has outrun Seattle's transition defense quite a few times today, and that was the perfect example. Nurse absolutely sprinting, using that full court baseline to baseline speed to just beat the defense back.
Alicia Clark with her first. Crystal Langhorn's coming in, as will Blake Dietrich, to replace Howard and Clark. So Seattle gets a little bit smaller here. Rashonda Gray back in for the Liberty. Points now for Kia Nurse to lead all scorers in a 16-16 game. Zealous cutting into the middle. They don't see her. Polina, nice pump faking up. Oh, man, if she could really get that consistently, people dive out at a three-point shot, she could be really, really good.
Yeah, and I just love the confidence, knowing exactly what she wanted to do when the defense flew by.
There's directing traffic. 6 seconds differential on the game and shot clock. And Tanisha Wright, our old friend, is into the game. She flips it up from the elbow. No good. Offensive rebound with 6 seconds left. That one's off the mark. And again, put back up and in by Rain Kakakunwe. 3 seconds left for Zealous. She'll fire it up and get it blocked by Nurse. And that will be the end of a pretty entertaining first quarter of play. The kids going crazy here after that three went down, but it was well after the horn. 18-18 here at the UW. Back with second quarter action next. Last season, the Seattle Storm helped to save over 5,700 lives through our Pint for Pint promotion with Bloodworks Northwest. In 2019, San Juan Seltzer is joining us as the preferred spiked sparkling water of the Storm. When you donate a pint of blood at any Washington Donor Center, you'll receive Storm tickets and a pint of seltzer during a happy hour game. For happy hour details and game dates, visit stormbasketball.com/happy hour. Dick Fain, Elise Woodward. Second quarter action, 18-18, and Seattle getting it mostly done, Elise, from the front court. Their front court players, if you include Mosqueda Lewis, who is listed as a forward in this game, 7 of 17 for 16 points. Their backcourt tandem, 0 of 3, 2 points right now. Down on the shot clock for Gray. She's going to fire it up. Tough shot. And badly missed there as it goes over the backboard. Seattle basketball trying to take the lead. Biggest lead of the game for Seattle was 5 at 12-7. And New York has held the lead once, a 1-point advantage early. Now Blake Dietrich will have to run the show here. Good opportunity for her. Dietrich finds Mosqueda Lewis. Courtney Paris into the contest. Dribbles into a long-distance jump shot, no good. And here comes all the way to the rim is Asia Doer as New York comes back and gets the lead, their biggest of the game at 2.
Yeah, you saw the speed of Doer just blow by Mosqueda Lewis in the open court, left her and got a wide open lay-in.
Into the corner, Dietrich, 3-ball on the way, back iron, no good. Dietrich looking for her first field goal as a member of the Seattle Storm. She has scored, but that was at the free throw line. Intercepted by Shavante Zealous. She's going to try to take it coast to coast, and she gets tackled. And she will go to the free throw line for 2.
No, and that's a big part of her game, her physical play, getting to the free throw line. I'd love to see her do this more. Put her head down and run. This is the anticipation to be in the weak side, trying to pass it over the top. And she knew exactly what was coming, and then just feeling the defense on her, knowing if she gets in her shooting motion, she's going to at least get 2 free throws and make it a 3-point play.
Such a savvy player, been around the league a long time, her 11th year, very, very good defender. She was the league's most improved player and an all-star in 2013, and she just has a tremendous feel for the game on both ends.
Yeah, it was funny. I said, how do you like playing in this gym before the game? And she said, oh, I loved it from my days back at Pitt when they came in here and played at Alaska Airlines Arena. They were able to get a win. So
the corner, Dirk gets it tied up. Shavante Zealous is going to jump it up with her. That's right. There's quite a few of these players that come through that have played in this gym. Of course, Rashonda Gray and Brittany Boyd played a lot of games in this gym as members of the Cal Bears.
Yes, they did. Sammy Whitcomb, a former Husky. Obviously, this was her home floor.
You know who the score?
And even Sue Bird, all the way back, the first game.
Just gonna say that.
The first game that Heckhead opened up after the remodel. It was the UConn Huskies. Sue Bird coming in and almost doubling up the Huskies that day. They put 100 points on the board, and the UConn Huskies only gave up 50-something. It was not a good game. But here we are. What, 18 years later?
Yeah, almost 19. That was in 2000. And Sue's still playing. Foul on Seattle. And we'll have 2 free throws coming up. And Sue, we just can't wait for her to add to those numbers, Elise.
Absolutely. You hope it is this season, although it's kind of a wait and see. how her knee responds after the surgery and the rehab, and she's been really busy at work.
Do you think it'll have anything to do with how the team is doing with a week or two left to go in the season? I mean, playoff implications, or?
I think Sue Bird loves to play, and I think she knows that there's not that many opportunities left at the age of 38 to be able to get on this floor and play the game, which she loves. Before the season started, somebody said, "You just won a championship. Why do you want to keep playing?" And she's like, "What do you mean? I'm going to play because I love the game."
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Whitcomb, long-range three, up and in. 23-20.
It's a good sign for Sammy. 3 of 13 from deep against Phoenix. A couple more goes in, and just one more of those goes in, and the Storm get that victory. They need her to be productive with those looks.
Tanisha Wright, no good, and Sammy's got her 3rd rebound. The guards have been rebounding well thus far. Langhorn way downtown. Ooh, in and out. She's been working on that range, but that was even deep for what she's been working on.
Yeah, working on stepping out to the three-point line. That was NBA range. That was well beyond the line.
There's Tanisha this time. She knocks it down.
Tanisha Wright retired and came back and is now getting good minutes for the New York Liberty. Great to see her back on the floor. The former member of the Storm, top 10 all-time in franchise history.
No question. Just named to the 20th anniversary team. That was a no-brainer. She tees up the line right now. Back iron. Gray gets it stripped away from Mosqueda Lewis, but they're going to call KML on the foul. Well, see, quick math there. That's 32, about 48 points or so. That we're not getting right now.
Might be helpful. I just think for this franchise, they have won 3 titles in their history. They're defending champs, and yet the team is just so much different than a year ago. You're looking at, they could have made some real history potential, and they still can. It's just going to be such a huge challenge without Breanna Stewart, Sue Bird.
Yes.
She may come back. We'll wait and see. Jewell Loyd is expected to be back in the next few weeks, but I mean, Sue Bird from the bench, I'll tell you, still adds a tremendous amount of value. And she is a coach over there on the sideline right now. Even though she is not able to get on the floor, she's helping this team in every way that she can. And for Jewell Loyd, you know, one of the best things about her has been her durability. And I think if that wouldn't have been Jewell Loyd that took the nasty spill that she did in spraining her ankle, it could have been a lot worse. The doctors were pretty amazed that it wasn't anything more significant. And she has promised Dan Hughes that she is a fast healer and she's going to be back sooner than they expect. That's what she says. Dan said, yeah, I've been told that before, but with Jewell, I might believe it.
Here's Sammy Whitcomb around the curl, leans and hits. Nice shot. Sammy Whitcomb, not really normally in her repertoire, but she's just a flat-out scorer, not just a shooter. Well, another thing is this league's wide open this year. I mean, yes, Washington's got, you know, a plus 14 point differential, and they look to be the best team right now. But, boy, you look at everybody else from Connecticut all the way down to LA's and Phoenix's. I mean, you got 7, 8 legitimate teams in this league. There's a 3-ball on the way, no good. Even a team like New York, I mean, they're only, right now, a half game out of a playoff spot at this point. So, a lot of parity in this WNBA right now.
And the one thing Seattle does is that right here. They play defense. The best team in the league on that end of the floor right now.
And Jordan Canada, as good a player as there is in the league, at doing it individually with 3 steals per game.
She gets the rip there and the score. That's when Seattle is tough to beat. When their defense is scoring points, essentially wide open lay-ins after getting ribs and long boards.
Here's Nurse, no good, tough shot. Seattle forcing difficult shots. Now they're going to run the other way. Whitcomb lobbing it up, tough pass, but how about that? And Natasha couldn't put it down, but there is Courtney Paris to lay it back up and in. And Katie Smith wants to take a timeout. Seattle on a push right now. Their biggest lead of the day, 29-23. 5:30 left to go in the first half. Back to Alaska Airlines Arena after this. Hey fans, join us Friday, July 5th, 7 o'clock to watch your Storm take on the Atlanta Dream right here on Carter Subaru Court at Alaska Airlines Arena in Seattle. Be sure to arrive at 6 to take advantage of happy hour with discounts on drink specials. Stick Fane, Elise Woodward with you. Storm getting up by 6 now. Defense creating offense, Elise.
Well, that time Jordan Canada with the swipe on the defensive end and scoring a bucket that you can't get any easier than Natasha Howard continues to just somehow not be able to cash in where she's usually money. But the good news is that her teammate had her back in Courtney Paris.
Charles rumbles to the rim and misses, but Rashonda Gray, Johnny on the spot to put it back up and in. So offensive rebound, second chance points for both teams in the last possession. Ooh, wide open Sammy Whitcomb. Ooh, she's not going to miss many of those, but that one was not good. She hasn't shot particularly well in this gym, though, even though this was her college gym. Here's a 3-ball on the way the other way for Tanisha Wright. Splashes it home.
The wide open look, not cashed in on one end and nailed at the other. 6-point swing.
Jordan Canada badly missed. She's 3 of 18 in her last 3 games. Here's Tina Charles. Little hook shot up and in is good.
3 yellow jerseys right there with Tina Charles, but they cannot disrupt her, and she gets another fast break bucket for New York. They are really taking advantage of Seattle, beating them down the floor for good looks.
That's a 7-0 run in 1:04 by Katie Smith and the New York Liberty. Back after this. Hey fans, the Storm app presented by Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, your go-to place for Storm stats, rosters, and standings. You can even play an interactive player pick game that earns you points towards cool prizes like Storm autograph swag, a one-night stay, and $50 towards restaurants at the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. More, you can find it on the Apple App Store or Google Play Store by searching Seattle Storm. Big 7-0 push here by the New York Liberty.
And they're doing it in transition. If you look down at the stat sheet, fast break points, New York 7, Seattle 4, but it doesn't count secondary transition points where they may get a mismatch because they outran you, or moving the tempo up with a couple of passes and getting you out of position easily. But that is really the story of this first half. New York is scoring way too easily early in the shot clock.
And Seattle only allows 11 fast break points a game, and they've almost given up double figures in this one. Here's Alicia Clark for 3, no good, tipped around and out of bounds to New York.
Tina Charles, one of the best scorers in the world. Love watching her play. You see the accolades, 5-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist a couple of times, just has been the middle of that New York franchise for years and done such a good job trying to put them on her back and carry them at times.
Nice give and go for New York for the bucket there to Boyd and Tanisha Wright. See if Seattle's guards can do some damage offensively. Sammy Whitcomb on cue. No. Offensive rebound, Alicia Clark. Back to Canada. Oh, well set up for Alicia. There you go. That's Jordan Canada moving the basketball right there.
And a 3-point shot after the offensive rebound. Sammy Whitcomb can't get hers to go, but Clark comes down with the board and then gets rewarded with the bucket.
Down low, somebody fell down, and Tina Charles left wide open for the layup. I saw Canada down there, but I don't think she was the one supposed to be defending Tina Charles. If she was, it was a miscommunication. Here's Mercedes Russell, who had a good first quarter. It's her first points in the second quarter here.
Yeah, nice soft touch for the 6'6" Russell.
Right, working on Russell, driving baseline. Skip it to the corner, and is knocked out of bounds by Alicia Clark. 2:57 left in a tie ball game. 7 ties already this game, 5 lead changes. As we expected, a close, hotly contested matchup here today. Right now to Charles, high post, working on Natasha Howard. 5 on the shot clock. She peeks at it, now fires as she steps back. No good. Nice rebound. Good hands by Mercedes.
That was one of their better defensive possessions of the game, forcing Charles into a deep jump shot.
Canada.
That's a mismatch. Oh, picks up a dribble. She still got it, though.
There it is, inside on Tanisha Wright. Good help by Tina Charles. And then leaving was Tanisha Wright to get back to her player. And Natasha Howard takes advantage of it, goes right to the window, and she'll go to the line for 2. And Natasha only 2 of 10 from the field, but she has been active in other ways and trying to get 2 free throws here, which would give her 6 points on the game.
Yeah, Natasha Howard is the best Storm scorer, almost 18 points per game. She's 3rd in the WNBA with 17.9 points per game, but she does so many other things. Right now, she is just in a stretch where she's just having a hard time getting the ball to go into the bucket, but she rebounds, she defends, she steals, she is a good distributor.
You got to be encouraged if you're Seattle, because your star has only 5 points on 2 of 10, and your starting backcourt only has 9 total points. You're up by 1.
Most definitely for this team, they have got to find ways to score, even if defenses are designed to really clamp down on Howard.
Savvy veteran move there by Tanisha Wright. She was falling out of bounds, so she just bounced it off the leg of the defender to give New York another opportunity. Oh, good pass to Charles from Brittany Boyd.
Yeah, good action on the baseline out of bounds play. Katie Smith doing a nice job designing that one for the wide open bucket.
Clark has it. Slip screen by Natasha Howard. Now with 10 on the shot clock. Alicia drives baseline on Nurse. Little push out there, and they caught her. Good call. Alicia didn't know what she did, but you can see it. Little chicken wing. You never did that, did you? Little chicken wing on the drive?
All the time.
Did you get away with it?
Never. I never got a call in my life. Isn't that what everybody
That's
thinks?
right, exactly. Gray, far side to Boyd. Double team comes, forces her to pick it up. 2 on the shot clock. Nurse has got to chuck it from NBA range, and hits it. Kia Nurse on fire in the first quarter. She's been quiet here in the second, but now has 14 points on 5 of 7.
You just see a different sense of confidence from her rookie year to now her second year. 29% from deep last year, now 34%. And she has been on fire in this one.
Ball gets poked free off the pass, and then losing it as Charles. Should be Seattle basketball, and it will be. That's a couple times we've seen a turnover immediately followed by another turnover within about 3 seconds.
And it's a good thing because New York once again was on the move.
Yep.
Those turnovers for Seattle, there's been a lot of live ball turnovers. And New York is just too good athletically to beat you down the floor if you're going to give them the ball.
Skata Lewis, no. And Boyd has the rebound. Boyd, her 3rd carom of the game. She tries to force one up in transition, and there you go again, Elise. I mean, just early offense. Very early offense.
Yep.
Timeout. Dan Hughes does not like what he sees and wants to make sure this last 48 seconds, which could be very important. I mean, you're down 6 right now. It was a tie ball game just a moment ago, and you know you've got an opportunity to trim this down to a 2 or 3 point deficit, or it could balloon to 10 very easily before the half.
Well, and I think it's a crucial time that you want to go into the locker room with some momentum, and right now New York has all of it, and they're getting it because they are running the floor hard. And on the last possession, it was Tina Charles racing down to try to get position, and Mercedes Russell's running as hard as she can. And even though Charles didn't touch the ball, she cleared Russell out of the lane, and that gave Boyd a lot of room to work with. And she hit a pretty tough runner, but one that she can make with her athleticism. And it is something that the Storm need to clean up to get a victory here today. And now down by 6, they've got to make it more difficult for New York and make them use a half-court offense to find scores.
Well, Mercedes Russell, the only Storm player in double figures, 10 points today, 4 of 5, 2 of 2 from the free throw lines, got a couple of rebounds, and she's getting the opportunities this season that she didn't get last year. Obviously, she was just a newcomer, picked up off of waivers by Seattle, and then also there was somebody named Brianna Stewart that was taking a lot of minutes in the post as well that you don't have this year. So Mercedes Russell, it's just not everybody can just step into a situation and just automatically get numbers because they get minutes. You have to be talented. You have to be physical down in the low post in the WNBA, and she has been able to do those things. Canada, 12 on the shot clock. Good acceleration. Lot of contact, and Jordan gets it to go. Wow. The finger roll with some elevation on that one. That was a decisive drive by Jordan Canada. High-low tipped away. Seattle basketball. This is exactly what you wanted. You got a bucket, a stop, and now New York can't get the ball back before the half. Canada getting a screen by Russell. Nope, gives it off to Mosqueda Lewis. Into the corner. Whitcomb fires one up and hits with 4.5 left. A little early in the shot clock, but she got it to go. Tanisha Wright loses handle of the basketball. That's exactly how you wanted to end that half. Boy, that timeout by Dan Hughes could not have ended any better. 48 seconds left. They were down by 6. They get a bucket, a stop, and a 3-ball. And now it's 41-40. Seattle right in this thing down 1. Let's go courtside. Elise Woodward standing by with head coach Dan Hughes.
Well, Coach, you took a timeout there down by 6, and a great push to end that half and get some momentum back. What did you tell him?
We need more timeouts, don't we? Played 2 for 1. Came off a middle pick and roll, really assertive, so that we could go down and defend and then come back. We're spurty right now, and we just kind of got to weather this storm a little bit, get some consistency in what we're trying to do.
It seems like New York has really been good in transition, pushing it before you're ready. How do you get that and turn it in your favor?
Well, we got to own a little bit of the transition defense. We got to get our guards back and congest, and then keep running the floor. Try to keep them fresh, but we just got to run the floor so that they got to play in the half court, because you're absolutely right. They're playing in transition.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Send it back over to you, Dick.
Thanks a lot, Elise. 11 fast break points for the New York Liberty, only 4 for Seattle. There's a 7-point differential, and you're only down by 1. You shore that up a little bit, get some more from Jordan Canada and Sammy Whitcomb. You're going to be okay in the second half. Halftime festivities coming up next.
Thanks to Symetra, the official life insurance partner of the Seattle Storm, for presenting Halftime. Halftime has been brought to you in part by Carter Subaru, planting a forest one test drive at a time, in Shoreline Ballard and at cartersubaru.com. Swedish, the official medical care team of the Seattle Storm, health for good. And Alaska Airlines, presenting sponsor of Kids Day.
Welcome back to Alaska Airlines Arena, getting set for the second half. We thought this would be a perfect opportunity, since Tanisha Wright is back in the fold tonight as a member of the New York Liberty, to show you the 20th anniversary team that was unveiled last week. Tanisha, along with Natasha Howard there on the second group, and then there's the first group. My goodness, a lot of stars on that list right there.
Yeah, it's fun, really. Somebody that has been there since day one to watch this team and cheer for them and their growth, and it's not even a question how much this league has improved and gotten better, and everyone inspired by watching these women for the last 20 years. And there's one of them who hasn't been there for all 20, but sure, it seems like it's hard to think back to when the franchise did not have Sue Bird as the starting point guard. One of the best that has ever played the game.
Elise, Seattle's got to find a way to get more rhythm three-point shots and maybe take less of them overall. In their last now 4.5 games, including today's 3 of 14, Seattle is 27 of 107. That's not a good percentage, and that's way too many threes in 4.5 games.
Well, I think the challenge for Seattle right now, and they hope that they can get some energy from this great crowd and go to 6-1 on their home floor. But the challenge is that they don't have a go-to scorer other than Natasha Howard. Everyone else is a role scorer where they get their scores, you know, when the defense gives it to them. But they're not going to go take it like Brianna Stewart or with Jewel Lloyd or some of these that create their own offense. And so they're learning how to score as a group, and it's hard.
Ooh, Tina Charles, there's a go-to scorer. The fadeaway from the elbow.
Absolutely. Has been, no matter what other players are surrounding her, for the New York Liberty. He's one of the best year in and year out.
Charles now in double digits, the second New York player in double figures, along with Kia Nurse, who leads all scorers with 14. Ball kicked out of bounds. Seattle basketball. Here's Natasha Howard. That's a rhythm three. Not exactly her forte, but when you get it in rhythm like that, you get in the shot pocket, you can knock it down.
Well, and they need Natasha Howard to shoot, and to shoot more than she normally does, because they are missing so much scoring. She has to take on that role, and most likely her efficiency and maybe shooting percentage will go down a bit because she's going to have to take tough shots, but that's a shot that they need her to hit if they're going to win games. And she did.
And if you're New York, you don't blame them for giving her that shot. I mean, she's not a particularly good three-point shooter, and she was only 2 of 10 from the field overall going into that shot. So test her a little bit. The other way, three ball in the way, no good. And Alicia Clark comes down with it. Clark gives it off to Canada. Whitcomb, they do have to defend her behind the arc, no question. He'll look feed inside. A lot of contact, and Mercedes Russell gets it to go. Big body going to the basket. That's tough to stop.
Well, and she has the height advantage down low against this New York team, and she is taking advantage of it. Now 12 points, and again, scoring through contact. And the pick and roll play works because Sammy Whitcomb delivers the ball in rhythm to Russell, where she doesn't have to put the ball on the ground. She doesn't have to get creative. She can just take it, a big 1-2, and score it.
She's got such soft touch. Not a lot of 6'6" players have got that type of touch around the basket and from the free throw line. Boyd surveying the scene, throwing it up off the glass, just hoping to get a foul, but she gets her own rebound and misses the bunny. There's Mercedes Russell battling with Gray inside, and we're going to have a jump ball. You and I were talking about Mercedes off the air during the halftime. I guess I don't remember that type of toughness from Mercedes Russell when she was at Tennessee. Is this something that she's really just developed over the last couple of years?
Well, I think this past off season, playing over in Europe as a professional and getting a lot of minutes, she has come back with a different fire in her eyes, where she's not backing down from anybody. No. And instead of just as a rookie, as a freshman, as the new person in your office, we all know when you're the new person how there's a little hesitation. You kind of want to wait and watch and see how you fit in. Now she knows what she has to do, and it's been really fun to see her growth. Tip
controlled by Durr, and she knocks it down. She's been quiet thus far today, but she got that one to go. 5 points on 2 of 4. Howard against Charles. Finds Canada. Full pass inside. Oh, that's good ball movement. Got to see more of that. That's why it goes down. You get Natasha Howard in rhythm, she's going to start making them.
Well, you go inside the lane and draw the defense. You kick it back out to Howard, who's wide open. It's how it works, but you have to get the passes in and out of the lane.
10 the shot clock for Nurse. Clark brings the double team with Russell. They retreat. Russell goes back, sets her feet. No call there either way. Dan Hughes wanted a shuffle of the feet, but to no avail. Here's Howard. Now to Clark. Still fire away. Back iron. Tipped around. Can Natasha get it? Ball loose on the floor. We're going to get a loose ball foul on Natasha Howard, who just dove on Nurse there.
Now you take that foul every single time. Natasha Howard, relentless pursuit of the basketball here. Look at her going with 2 defenders on her, and it's one of those that ball is just squeezing out of her grasp. You can't quite catch it. You'll take that foul every single time. Those are the time that you save your fouls for, that you don't have the careless ones.
Your Western Conference Player of the Month of June.
And I just love it for Natasha Howard, the most improved player a year ago, member of the all-defensive team, and yet her game continues to evolve and grow. She's now in the position of being their go-to scorer, kind of working through the transition there until Jewell Loyd gets back, but doing so much for this team.
There's Canada. Now to Alicia Clark, trying to bring Whitcomb off 2 and 3 screens on this possession. Good low post position. Oh, backdoor cut, Mercedes Russell. Great cut, great feed. And a timeout taken by Katie Smith, and Seattle has got a 3-point lead. Now the offense here in the second half, much much more smooth and fluid than we saw in the first half. Hey, Storm fans, join us for the Kaiser Permanente free community practice hosted by the city of SeaTac and Seattle Southside Regional Tourism Authority. Tyee High School in SeaTac, July 30th at 5:30. Meet the players, win prizes, and more. Visit stormbasketball.com/community practice to learn more. Always a fun event. I've done that numerous times with the team down there at Tyee High School. One year it was like 97 degrees. Hopefully this year won't be that hot.
Oh, so you were practicing? You were getting really...
I was emceeing, so I didn't have to run. It was hot enough for me just talking on the...
I was complaining.
Exactly. I'm a wuss compared to these ladies. Are you kidding me?
Just wanted to make sure that you were complaining about it being too hot to talk.
Here's Canada with it. Out of Natasha Howard. Whitcomb, catch and shoot. Good rotation off the back iron. Ball loose on the floor. Loose ball foul. I think they're going to get it. They're going to get New York.
Yeah, Alicia Clark working for inside position on the weak side. Just getting held. It's time to stop her momentum from going to grab that rebound.
Third foul on Tina Charles. So they can pick one more up on Tina this quarter. She'll have to sit for a fairly extended period of time, you would think. Howard, boy, now starting to feel it. Started 2 of 10. She is 3 of 3 in her last 3 shots with 2 3-pointers.
Now, you knew it was going to come around eventually. The ball was going to drop. It's just nice that it's from deep, but not even from up close.
Well, how that pass made it from Charles to Nurse through 4 Storm hands. Here's Gray, now to Tanisha Wright, 2 on the shot clock. No look pass. Charles puts it up, no good. And Alicia Clark comes up with it.
Numbers, 2 players down in the backcourt.
Canada, skip pass. This is where Whitcomb is deadly. 56-47. 5:30 left in the third.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tanisha Wright turned her ankle on that last play, went down, and kind of ran into another Liberty defender. It was a 5-on-3 break, but Tanisha Wright, timeout. They're having to help her kind of limp to the bench. But the Storm feeling good with this 9-point advantage now.
An 8-0 run for Seattle, and they are 3 of their last 5 from 3-point range. What do I know, Elise? I said, Seattle just needs to stop shooting 3 balls, but they're getting them in rhythm now on ball rotation.
Seattle just needs to start making those 3 balls. If you're going to shoot them, you better put them in the hoop, and that's what they're doing here in the second half. But their both feet are set. Defense is not within closing distance. They're good high percentage looks from 3, and that's why the Storm have been able to pull ahead here by 9.
And the Storm know that they were struggling from 3. You could tell Sammy Whitcomb let out a little scream there. Storm fans gear up for the 2019 season with the newest Storm gear. New items are arriving daily. Visit stormbasketball.com and gear up today. You can also get Storm gear here. In fact, there's some right there on that fans. I can see right through that tunnel there. Tunnel number 2, I see the Storm team shop right over there. So I promise you can get Storm gear here at Alaska Airlines Arena when you come to the games. Seattle shooting 44% at 21 of 48, 6 of 19 from 3-point range, but they are shooting well over 50% here in the second half from both 3 and from 2-point range. New York at 20 of 42, 3 of 9 from behind the arc. And Seattle has chopped what was a 6-point deficit, Elise, with 48 seconds left to go in the half. They're now up by 9. And we got a whistle going the other way.
Another good job on the penetration of Boyd, not letting her turn the corner to the middle, and she just loses control of the basketball off the baseline.
Canada off a screen from Russell. Here's Howard. Oh, the pin and the foul. Boy, oh boy, the screen and then the pin on the weak side. That is good basketball.
And the game of basketball is evolving away from the interior, where you're not seeing as many bigs go back to the bucket, seal the defender, and go to work. Well, Mercedes Russell has the face-up game, but boy, she's going old school. I love the ability with her strength and size to get on the block and overpower other defenders.
Mercedes Russell now with a career high 16 points with that free throw. Seattle can win this game. She is definitely the favorite right now for our post-game interview and our most valuable player.
And it's a game for Mercedes Russell that, you know, she's coming on. She's getting a lot of minutes and opportunity. Her confidence is growing, and she's a big part of this team now.
Here's Nurse with a 3-ball in the way and up and in. Before that 3, Elise, Seattle was going on a 23-6 run since that Dan Hughes timeout with 48 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Still a nice run of 23-9, giving them the 58-50 advantage.
And already 14 fouls on New York. The next one, 4:48 to go. Next one, they are in the bonus. They could do some damage at the free throw line, where they have been very good this season.
We'll see if Seattle attacks the rim, tries to get to that free throw line. Canada so good at doing that. Here she is, bouncing that low, and just a little bit too soft. Nice run out by Nurse, gets behind the defense. And Kia's been very, very impressive today. Kia Nurse with 19 points. She does have 3 games this year of over 24 points. So she's poured it in before, but then also she can have games of 6 and 8 points as well to get to her 12-point average, and she fouls right there.
They're a battle down on the block with Alicia Clark and Kia Nurse. The last possession, it was Nurse getting called for the foul. Now it's Alicia Clark trying to get position. Too much contact. They call it on her, but a little battle there going between Clark and Nurse.
Tina Charles with it against Natasha Howard. The fadeaway, no. Seattle's done a nice job of getting Tina shooting away from the basket instead of leaning in towards the basket. Oh, nice no look there by Jordan, Canada. And she lays it up and in. 8-point Seattle lead.
Such a slight hesitation throws the defense, and once she gets just a little fragment of a step on you, she's going to score it. One of the fastest players in the league with the ball in her hands.
And here's Nurse again.
Wow.
Hitting it, Kia Nurse.
She is going off.
22 points on 8 of 10. Howard drives in. That's a good looking shot. Little long? No. Thought it might have been off the back iron, but she snuggled it down. Seattle's biggest lead is 11. It stands at 8 points right now. Charles working hard, as is Natasha Howard. 3-ball on the way from Durr, in and out, snatched down by Mercedes Russell. That's rebound number 3.
And a good box out, getting the inside position for the board.
Whitcomb back to Jordan. She's going to test her eye. That one's no good. Into the game for the first time, Avery Worley Talbert. Charles again fading away, and this time she hits it.
Such a tough shot from Charles. Double teamed out to the free throw line, and just with 1 foot on the ground, rises with the follow through dead middle.
Clark using a Howard screen both directions, and a whistle, and one of those screens was a little bit moving, evidently, according to Tiffany Bird. Monte Zealous into the game for Seattle. Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis and Tanisha Wright. Good to see Tanisha back in. How about that no-look move?
Well, and it was her eyes that froze the defense. See how she's looking at the wing, and so the defense, it's such an underrated thing to move the defense with your eyes. You don't have to fake the ball. You don't have to fake a pass. Just look away from where you're going, and the defense can't predict.
Charles toes up the line and hits Tina Charles. They're going to say a 2-point shot, 63-59.
Well, it felt like Seattle was pulling away from New York on their home floor, and instead, New York, what an answer run from them.
Howard into traffic, a lot of contact. No, gets her own rebound, and she'll challenge Worley Talbert, and she puts it up, no good. There's the offensive rebound from Shavante Sellis.
This team is just so tough, just working hard through contact, on the boards, whatever it takes.
And ball knocked free, but a foul is going to go on Shavante. There's that chicken wing.
I think that was just trying to draw the foul. I did not see Howard extend her arm off the ball.
Right.
I think that's a good no call, but it was Howard continuing to work through the contact, and then Zealous crashing the O boards. The toughest factor for this team. You saw it last year when they won the championship, but now missing so many parts. It really is. It shines on these players collectively, how mentally and physically tough they are.
Here's Tanisha working on Zealous. The big 1-2 in the lane. Zealous strips it, 3 on the shot clock. Tanisha lets it fly, no good. Clark on a 3-on-3 the other way. Finds Kalina Mosqueda Lewis wide open.
And finally, Seattle getting out and giving New York a little taste of their own medicine. A transition bucket, and nailing the 3 was Mosqueda Lewis.
So many more rhythm shots here for Seattle in the second half than they got in the first, and a foul on Natasha Howard will send Charles to the line. Seattle was 3 of 14 from 3. They are 5 of their last 7.
Head up, looking for her scores. Kalina Mosqueda Lewis getting to her spot on the floor. I don't know what her favorite spot is. She probably has a lot of them because she's made more threes than they've been in the history of college basketball on the women's side. But for Kalina Mosqueda Lewis, when she's open and her feet are set like that, you put it in rhythm to her and you feel like it goes in every time.
Natasha Howard will take a seat with 4 fouls. So we won't see her until probably the 6 or 7 minute mark left in the game. And Crystal Langhorne comes in. We got a loose ball foul on New York coming off that free throw.
I like this. This is usually when Dan Hughes gives Natasha Howard a break at the minute mark of the second quarter, minute mark of the fourth quarter. And we'll see what Seattle can do. He's going to look at the clock and the time and the score. And as long as his team can keep this lead or perhaps even extend it, he's going to feel good about saving Natasha with those 4 fouls for as long as possible. But I'd be surprised if New York can make another of these runs that they've made today. You might have to get her back in there sooner rather than later.
Katie Smith not happy with that call, and she's letting Tiffany Bird know as they give Seattle free throws, but Mercedes misses the first and the second. So Mercedes Russell, who was 5 of 5 from the line going into those 2 free throws.
And a 77% free throw shooter on the season.
Charles with it, ball knocked free, out of bounds. Last touch by Tina. Wow. Nice hustle there by Kalina Mosqueda Lewis to kind of muddy the water there on the far side.
Good hustle play on that end of the floor. She's in there, her roles as a shooter, knock down big jump shots, but working hard to gain a possession for her team there.
Mosqueda Lewis, now Langhorne. Ball moving around the perimeter. Lots of touches, and that equals a jump shot. Sometimes it's just getting 4 people the ball on one possession. You just get a good shot.
Now that was a shot set up by Crystal Langhorne. Big screen, freeing up Zealous at the free throw line. That's just too easy.
70-60. Seattle 1 point off their biggest lead of the contest. Here's Tanisha. 3 on the shot clock. Help comes. 3 ball on the way. Wide open. No, short. And now Seattle's got 7 seconds. They got to go. Here comes Alicia. She takes a peek at the clock. Crosses the timeline with 4. With 2. Turnaround. We saw this last week. This was no good, though. We thought she might be able to throw it off the glass again for another bucket. But Seattle with a very solid third quarter. I would venture to say the best quarter of basketball in about 3 games. And Seattle leads it by 10.
This Storm broadcast is presented by Swedish, the official medical care team of the Seattle Storm. Health for good. Supported in part by Carter Subaru, planting a forest 1 test drive at a time. In Shoreline Ballard and at CarterSubaru.com. And BECU, the official credit union of the Seattle Storm. And Alaska Airlines, presenting sponsor of Kids Day.
And welcome back to Kids Day. Dick Fain along with Elise Woodward. And boy, Seattle making child's play of that third quarter. 30-19 push. And if you go back to the 48-second mark of the second quarter, when they went on a little 5-0 run, it's a 35-19 push by Seattle that's got them out to a 10-point lead. And Elise, at that point, they were 13 of 38 from the field. They are 13 of 19 since from the field.
Oh, this is a big stretch for them, starting this fourth with just 1 starter on the floor. With a 10-point lead, we'll see if they can keep or maintain this lead,
travel.
and for how long.
So Wright took a big 1-2 and then stopped before she passed the ball. Here's Boyd off the heel. Tipped around, last touched, I believe. Wow, I thought it was last touched by Raincock and Koonway there, but the officials say no. Reset the clock to 14. Raincock and Koonway spinning in the lane. Nice little move there and off the window. Wow, that was fundamentally sound.
Krista Langhorne moving with the fake. An easy bucket for the Liberty.
That looked like a Langhorne move. Using that pivot foot. Courtney Paris now. We'll see how the Seattle bench can operate here with only one starter on the floor, Alicia Clark. Zealous mishandled a bullet pass from Mosqueda Lewis. Nisha, crossover dribble. Good defense by Mosqueda Lewis, forces her back out. Raincock to Koonway with it. Boyd thinks about it. Got to make something happen with 2 on the shot clock. Steps into a long ball and knocks it down. And all of a sudden, it's a 5-point game.
5-0 run to start this fourth quarter. Dan Hughes says, in goes Sammy, in goes Natasha Howard, in goes Mercedes Russell.
You didn't want to put him in this early, but obviously the situation presented itself with the 5-0 push. Like, I got to get my starters back in the game.
That's unfortunate too, because Seattle had really played some good defense. Look at that, 1 second on the shot clock, and Brittany Boyd, who's not known as an outstanding three-point shooter, gets that one to go. Boyd shooting just 18% from 3 for the season, but she drills that one when it matters.
Whitcomb throws it away. Tanisha Wright all the way to the window. Shot blocked by Mosqueda Lewis, but Tanisha gets it right back and lays it up and in. Oh, Seattle had numbers going the other way. That was big. And Dan Hughes going to want to take a timeout. My goodness. Seattle had numbers going the other way, but Mosqueda Lewis couldn't hang on to it. Seattle leads by 3. It was 10 just a moment ago. It's a 7-0 push. Doppler's got a lot of friends today in the Seattle Children's Doppler train. You can join the fun during the fourth quarter of each home game. Seattle Children's helping provide hopes and cures to children in need. There's Cool Bird chasing him. There's Harry the Husky chasing him. He's starting the wave here. Good stuff from he didn't have the kids come down today. Usually the train with all the kids, but since we have of our 8,700 fans today, we probably have about 4,000 kids, so that might have provided an absolute mess on the floor.
You think 4,000? I'd say like 7,000. There's a
well, some
lot
adults
of
have to be
kids
accompanying these kids.
Shaking the thunder sticks and getting after it. They've been great today, especially with the music and the timeouts. Singing along, they've been fun.
Mosqueda Lewis off the back iron. Here's Boyd. Now right.
Mosqueda Lewis is down.
Trailer 3. No good. Raincock to Koonway as Galina Mosqueda Lewis is still down in the backcourt. Looked like an ankle. And she will undoubtedly have to come out, and we'll get Jordan Canada back in. And this is just, you got to be, if you're a Storm fan or Dan Hughes, or you just got to go, really? I mean, how many of these are we going to have in 1 year? My goodness. Trying to get an indication on what happened, and it might have been off camera.
Well, obviously, it's an injury to her right leg, and she's in some pain. She went down immediately, and
top of your, let's see, right off the shot, step back.
Right here, it looks like she either slipped on a wet spot, but her right leg just kind of went out from underneath her. And I can't tell if it's the ankle or the knee, but one thing we do know is that She's in some pain and can't put a lot of pressure on that as she has now walked back into the tunnel area on the way to the locker room and is talking to the doctors. You can see in the very top of your left screen, and now they're going to take her back. These doctors have been so busy, unfortunately.
Too busy. Seattle's had enough serious injuries for the entire WNBA. Natasha Howard's going to sit down for a couple because she's got 5 fouls now, and all this talk about Catalina Mosqueda-Lewis's injury. Natasha picked up foul number 5, so she's going to have to sit down for a couple minutes.
It's been an 8-0, make it 10-0 Liberty run. It was 70-70 to start this quarter, and now in 3 minutes, the lead has been erased, and we're back to a tie game. All momentum on New York side.
Canada grabbing baseline. Good feed to Zealous, and she is erupted on underneath. I guess if you're going to foul, that's the way you got to do it. You got to make a hard foul there. She had the opportunity for the and one, and Shavonte Zealous will go to the free throw line. Good vision here by Jordan Canada.
Yeah, beautiful pass. Zealous getting into the line of her sight so Jordan Canada could find her easily, and boy, she pays the price, doesn't she? Just gets clobbered.
Rashonda Gray, her 4th foul, as Zealous hits the free throw to snap that 10-0 push that Elise referred to.
72% at the line is Zealous, and Jordan Canada won't get credit for the assist because she was fouled and didn't get the shot to go. But
I think you should get an assist if you on a pass that you make 2 free throws on. I understand that.
I 100% agree. It doesn't make any sense that why wouldn't she get an assist for that?
Right. Here's Charles with it. Kicking to the corner. Tanisha Wright for the lead. There it is. The former Storm superstar knocking it down. Whitcomb with it. Left to right. Picks it up. Now Zealous. Jordan Canada. Who is going to be the offensive star here down the stretch for Seattle? Are they going to have one? Offensive rebound. Crystal Langhorne. No. Mercedes tries to keep it alive. Can't do it. Tina Charles grabs it. (70-60) was our score. It is now 73-72 New York. Unfortunately for Seattle, New York doesn't add to it on that possession. Lisa Clark's going to check back in. You would imagine fairly soon Natasha Howard is going to come in as well with her 5 fouls as Jordan Canada attacks the rim, and will go to the free throw line for 2. Canada 3 of 7 on the game. She has yet to be to the line. 6.7 assists, and that's 5 fouls now on Rashonda Gray. So 2 posts in this game. Gray and Natasha Howard have 5 fouls.
Jordan Canada is just 5'6". It shows no fear on that dribble penetration getting into the lane, and if they don't rotate over to her, she can beat her defender one-on-one a lot during the course of a game. And when she gets into that lane, if you don't rotate onto her, she's going to go all the way. But she doesn't mind if you come over late. She is so creative of finding the contact. She hits the floor a lot, but she draws a lot of fouls and heads to the free throw line and gets other teams in foul trouble with that move.
Right at the top of the circle. Dumping it to Tina Charles. One-on-one, and she draws the foul on Mercedes Russell. We'll go to the free throw line. You were talking about Canada. I mean, here's the difference between this year and last year. Canada has tied her career high with 7 assists in this game. That's also a team high for the season. Nobody has had more than 7 assists in the game. Sue Bird averaged 7.1 assists per game last season. And you have not had one player get more than 7 assists in any game this year. That's amazing.
And that was also Sue Bird's career high at the age of 37 in assists. And it's pretty easy to get assists with Breanna Stewart all over the floor.
That's true.
I will say that. Kind of easy. Hey, throw it to Stewie. Bucket. It's your numbers.
1-point lead for New York. Clark, baseline. She loves it down here in the short corner. Working against Tanisha Wright. Spinning. Zealous from 15. Tough shot. In and out. Snatched down by the Liberty. Time not yet a factor. Still just under 5 minutes to play. Natasha Howard's going to come back in now as the clock raced past 5. Double team, skip pass into the corner. Right, she loves going baseline. She runs right into Canada. Thought there should be a travel, and we will have one. The crowd helped there.
That's the defense that Seattle plays, where they're going to bring double teams maybe in unconventional spots. So the offense doesn't have a play to run. They have to read the defense and read where the double's coming from, and as it changes, you just have to make good decisions. And that time they totally threw off the rhythm of the Liberty.
Canada jumping in high post. Russell.
Wow.
Made her hay in there. Boy, that just shows you the strength of Tina Charles, as Mercedes Russell lowered her shoulder hard into Charles, and Charles didn't move. I mean, watch Charles here. Nope. I'm just going to stand my ground. I mean, I'm going to commit the foul, but I mean, you see so many of those times where whether it's a flop or you just get hit in the wrong spot and you're back 9 inches, and she moved maybe 1.
I mean, if somebody came up and did that to the grocery store, can you imagine how far you'd fly?
Zealous with it. Tipped around, but into the hands of Rain Kakakunwe, who's been very nice off the bench. Versatile player.
Yeah, these women down low fighting for post position. I don't know how they do it, just game after game after game.
Here it is again with Rain Kakakunwe and Zealous down low. There's Charles working her way, fading away. That's her patented shot, and it gets wedged. There's the hops from Natasha Howard. Remember in the old days in the WNBA, and a shot would get wedged like that? You'd have to get the broomstick out. And now there's like 8 players out of the 10 on the floor that can just reach up and touch it now. There's your difference between 2000 and 2019 WNBA. When I first started calling these games, it's like, all right, well, let's go get the broomstick. What these players have done with their bodies over the last 15 years is incredible.
Another body hitting the floor. That time Alicia Clark. Looks like her feet, much like Selena Mosqueda-Lewis, just kind of slips. You see him bringing out the crew to try to wipe up the perspiration on the floor. It is like ice skates when you have any sweat. Look at Alicia Clark right there. Oh my gosh, she is just lucky, as she did not, that she was able to hop right back up for the jump ball. And
that's why you do your stretching and your yoga right there, because when you land like that, it doesn't hurt so much when you've created a limber body. You and I do that, is bad news. Here's Canada with it. 12 on the shot clock. Big screen from Russell. Canada step back and misses badly, but there's Russell to put back a career game for Mercedes Russell. 19 points on 7 of 8 shooting. Will it be enough? It was enough to give Seattle the lead. We'll see if they can keep it. Boyd against Howard, a little short. Another rebound by Rain Kakakunwe. Back to Charles. Good. Let me tell you about Rain Kakakunwe tonight. 8 points, 5 rebounds in 11 minutes. She has been tough.
And the rebounding taking a toll on the Storm. They had the stop. They couldn't get the board.
Great feed underneath. Pumping her fist is Alicia Clark. She gives Natasha the high five after the and one.
And ties this game back up with a chance to take the lead. This Storm team has been in so many close games and trying to close this one out.
Fans, WNBA All-Star 2019 voting is open. Vote your favorite Storm players into the All-Star game by searching Seattle Storm Vote on Google. You can also vote on WNBA.com or the WNBA app. Vote early, vote often, vote Storm. Dick Fain along with Elise Woodward. Thanks for joining us here on a matinee day and another clutch, tight game for Seattle. The WNBA defines clutch games as 5 points or less within 5 minutes to play. Seattle is now in their 10th of the year, and they are 6-3 in those games, despite not shooting well. At least they are 1 for 21 from three-point range in clutch time this season, and yet they're still 6-3. They've been able to do it other ways, like they did right there with the and one.
And their free throw shooting has been outstanding and productive, getting to the line a lot, and then being able to cash in there has been huge for them in late in ball games.
14th lead change of the game. Charles trying to make it 15 and does. 80-79.
What a beautiful shot. Left hand over the top of two defenders. Defense was there. It didn't matter.
Whitcomb has it. To her left. Now to Howard. One-on-one. Should take advantage of this. And does off the window. That was Natasha Howard's advantage right there, that matchup.
And could have been an and one. A lot of contact on the shot. She finishes anyway.
Charles has it. Now to Nurse. Double team. Kicks it out Charles. Got the quickness of Canada on her way out there. Boyd has it. Into the corner. Big shot from T. No good. Air ball. Seattle, that's got to be a foul. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Tina
this is such good defense by Seattle. On the other end, Natasha Howard. Contact there, moving both players. Could have been an and one. She says, "Ooh, got hit right on the face," but still kind of smarting a little bit. But the toughness factor, this is a physical game. You cannot expect to get in the lane and you feel contact and it's a foul. You have to play through it. The very best players in the league don't complain, and that's Natasha Howard. Her body language, no matter what happens, you rarely see her change expression. It's such an asset. For Dan Hughes, he knows no matter what, shots falling, she's not getting a call, shots not falling, whatever it may be for Natasha Howard, she has the same demeanor, and she's just going to play as hard as she possibly can while she's on the floor.
Very surprised Tina Charles committed that foul. That's her 5th, and it walks Seattle all the way down. Now Russell missed her first free throw, but this one's in and out as well. So dodging a bullet are the New York Liberty on that possession.
And that's 4 misses in a row at the line for Mercedes Russell, who is an excellent foul shooter. But this is a lot of minutes, and there's been a lot of physical play. I wonder if she's a little worn down here late.
Charles step back, snuggles at home. Another lead change. That is 17 in the game.
24 points now for Charles. She's an unstoppable.
Canada, speaking of unstoppable on the push, she goes right down Broadway and lays it in with the left.
Yeah, nice move, taking what the defense gives you, and that's a lane to the bucket on the left side, and now 5 Storm players in double figures.
Tanisha, now to Gray. Lob it up top. Tina Charles, double team. Good defense by Seattle, but the 5-time All-Star says, hey, no big deal.
This has been bucket followed by bucket. Neither team right now can get a stop. That time, Tina Charles was underneath the bucket. 2 defenders in her space, and she still finishes.
Elise, Tina Charles has scored the last 11 New York buckets, and that's what you
points
do.
Or buckets?
Excuse me, points.
I was like, what?
When you have a 5-time All-Star, the only player in your starting 5 that has more than 5 years experience, you just go to the well, and it's working for him right now.
Well, you know that the veterans and those that have proven themselves, when it is clutch time, less than a minute to go now in a 1-point game on the road, who else would you want in that situation? Because Tina Charles has come through time and time and time again, and she's doing it again. 26 points for Tina Charles on 21 shots today. Good efficiency and trying to will her team to this win on the road.
Hey fans, join us Friday, July 5th, a couple of days away, 7 p.m. to watch your Storm take on the Atlanta Dream right here on Carter Subaru Corner, the Alaska Airlines Arena in Seattle. Be sure to arrive at 6 to take advantage of a happy hour with discounts on drink specials. What a great game, and you know, a higher scoring game than I anticipated. New York, you know, has struggled this season offensively at times. Seattle certainly over the last 3 games or so has struggled offensively, and yet here we stand at 84-83 with 57 seconds left.
Well, New York averages 79 points per game, but they give up 82. So I wondered, Seattle has not been as efficient offensively with Jewell Loyd not on the floor. Could they come in and score? What kind of a game would it be? This is New York's type of game, high scoring. But Seattle's right in this one. Their defense has not been able to shut down Charles.
See what play Dan Hughes decides to run here. Reversing the basketball. Mercedes loses sight of the basketball. Oh, turnover by Seattle at the worst possible time.
The clock stopped for a moment.
For a couple seconds it did. Saw that. 18-second differential. Charles. Hook shot. In and out. That was big. 1 second differential. Dan Hughes wants another timeout.
And he's going to advance the ball into the front court with 2.7 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock. You want to take it down to the very end and not give New York much time to answer, but you have to take first available good-looking shot that you like.
Taking a look at the top of the WNBA standings, obviously the top 4 very, very important for that first round bye. There are the Storm right there at 8-6, 2 games behind the Mystics. New York not too far behind in the second group that we don't see there, but boy, oh boy, every one of these games, particularly at least because of the parity in this league this year, I mean, you're going to have probably 2 games at the end of the season, maybe separate 3 or 4 playoff spots.
And it could not just be for seeding, it could be to get in.
Yeah.
And we know right now that this game will have reverberations in September with seeding and getting into the postseason potentially and where you're at.
Where are you going here? Mercedes?
I think you go 2-man game with Canada and with Howard.
Here's Whitcomb, far side, gives it up to Canada. Here comes the 2-man game. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Canada attacking, tries to get it to Natasha and does. Natasha spinning, big 3, shot of the season for Jordan. No, tipped around, who's got it? Up by Alicia at the buzzer, and it goes off the mark. And New York comes off with a victory. Alicia Clark in the perfect spot at the perfect time and couldn't get it to go in traffic. My goodness. Oh, what a heartbreaking loss for Seattle. They had a 10-point lead going into the 4th quarter. And they couldn't get it done on the last possession, but you couldn't ask for a better look there. You got a wide open 3 and an offensive rebound.
You had the execution, but you just can't get the ball to go in the hoop. Canada plenty of time. Look at all that arch, but off, and then board the fight. If there were 1 more second in the game, Mercedes Russell would have O-boarded and put that ball in.
Well, that's going to do it for us on this matinee game. It was entertaining, it was exciting, but Seattle does not get it done. And congratulations to New York Liberty. A big, huge push at the end of the game. They outscore Seattle after being down by 10 in the 4th quarter. They get it done 84-83 behind 26 from Tina Charles.